Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 on Channels Television, coming to you live from Lagos. Reminder of our major stories. Nigerian Army seeks public cooperation towards arrests of fleeing Boko Haram members to end insurgency in the northeast. Adamawa State government announces plans to close the 30 IDP camps in the state by January 2017. Zero visibility caused by Harmattan haze forces domestic airlines to cancel several flights across the country. And US President-elect Donald Trump asked Israel to stay strong until he assumes office in January. For more on our top stories and others, please visit our website, is channelstv.com, and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can also watch us on the go on your mobile device. Just log on to m.channelstv.com or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS, and Windows phones from their respective stores. Having the Channels TV and Channels 24 app will give you access to news and updates. You also have the eyewitness feature, so you too can be part of the news. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the eyewitness menu and follow the instructions to share those pictures, videos, or news of happenings around you. The state of Nigeria's economy, the business environment, and the standard of living became the key discussions for Nigerians in 2016. Being the first full year of the Buhari administration in the saddle, many consider it the year that tested the government's economic plans and strategies to lead a people whose economic consciousness is at a level never before seen. In continuation of our review of the year, we'll bring to you the second part of our focus on the economy, as our business editor, Boson Omofai, captures some of the socio-economic lives wires of the year.
Nigeria, Africa's largest economy and most populous country, is heading towards the end of 2016 on a mixed note. On the economic front, it was a year in which foreign reserves hit the floor. The naira bottomed out, fiscal revenue suffers, foreign inflows were meager, domestic production plummet, and the ordinary people grapple with daily living. But while President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledges the impact of his administration's policies and actions on the economy and the people, the president believes it was for the country's long-term good.
Those outrageous and patriotic men and women who believed in Nigeria are now seeing the benefits gradually come to fruition. I am talking about the farmers who today are experiencing bumper harvests, the manufacturers who substituted imported goods for local materials, and the car assembly companies who today are expanding to meet higher demand.
The new cabinet spent the better part of the first half settling into office, while the executive and the legislative branch grapple with the 2016 federal budget with little attention on fiscal issues and spending. By July, it was obvious that Nigeria's economic troubles go beyond a flexible foreign exchange market. The economy requires a massive injection of fiscal stimulus as all units of governance and the people look for ways out of recession.
When you're in a recession, ideologically, you spend your way out of it. And you spend impactfully, and you spend in such a way that it creates inclusive growth. That means employment. So a recession is defined as contraction in economic activity coupled with high unemployment, weakness in the financial system, and a reduction in confidence.
But while the administration could be faulted for being slow in its reaction to the tumbling economic fortunes, the government says it was busy cleaning its books. From thousands of ghost workers to the pilfering of pensions, wasteful spending, as well as re-evaluation of contracts and payments, including the arrears. For the financial markets, there was little to cheer in 2016. Stocks were largely negative, mutual funds struggled, while pensions assets were buffeted.
Every year you grow population by 3%. That's your rock bottom minimum growth rate you need in any basic thing. But yet, if you look at virtually everything you're doing, they are far below that growth rate. You are sitting on a major crisis available to you with pressures on your government, consistent pressure, year in, year out, day in, day out tomorrow.
As Nigeria looks forward to the new year, the Buhari administration says the outgoing 2016 had been used to lay a solid economic foundation for the years ahead, and urges Nigerians to be patient with his programs. Bosin Omofaye for Channels Business News.
Well, joining me on the news at 10 to analyze the performance of the nation's economy in 2016 is an economist, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on stage on the news at 10 at this time. Were you of high hopes, do you think, for the economy in 2016? Were you fulfilled or were you disappointed?
Well, there will be very few people who will be fulfilled with 2016. It didn't start too well anyway, and the hope was that we'll catch up for the traction we lost in 2015 after the new government came in, and we thought things were going to really move quickly. But it didn't go that way. And so we are going into 2017 hoping that we will really move much faster than we did in 2016 and catch up for a lot of lost ground, really.
What would you consider the biggest achievement of the government in 2016?
Perhaps it's outside the economy. Perhaps the fact that we are putting the war itself in the Northeast behind us and having a new scope for the economy is probably the most important achievement. You could say towards the end of the year, that's about 2 weeks ago, they were able to sign this landmark agreement to take us out of the joint venture cash calls, which was a major drain on our foreign exchange. So that again was significant. Then the oil subsidy that we seem to have got out of, we seem to because we might find ourselves getting back there if the oil price continues to rise and the government wants to try to prevent adjusting the price to reflect the current crude oil prices. So that's really what you can say. Of course, agriculture did quite well. We have to recognize that we did quite well in agriculture, and the outlook for agriculture is getting better. We expect next year that we will begin to see the real impact of the improvement in agriculture. But other than agriculture, the other sectors have been really struggling.
So what, in your view, are the biggest fault lines we had in 2016 concerning the economy?
Well, first is that we lost the opportunity to really take steps in areas that will, one, get in a lot of investments. Because for you to grow this economy, you need injection, significant injection of investments. And most of that is going to come from outside the government. So the role of government was to ensure that investors feel strong enough, confident enough to invest in the economy, both local and foreign investors. But a lot of actions we took did not create that confidence. And so you had the business community always talking about the operating environment, the ease of doing business. Because investors have investable funds around the world. They are always looking for countries to invest in. But whether they come to Nigeria or not, was because last year and next year will be because there are big questions about the operating environment.
But do you think that this government has laid the groundworks that will allow a prosperous growth in the economy as we enter into the new year?
Well, that groundwork is work in progress. We haven't done much, but we've done some things. One is the issue of the oil and gas industry, that the government seems now to be getting to accept that you need to make big changes. Two is agriculture is ramping up. Agriculture is growing. We can see it, we can see it, we can feel it, but it will take a while before you see food prices really coming down. And then you now say that the impact is there on the table. But clearly in 2016, the agriculture has overgone some major hurdles. First of all, the hurdle of understanding that agriculture is a very significant business. Initially, the commitment to agriculture as a business seems to be lagging behind what this government thought needed to be done. But as the government settled down, they saw that they needed to maintain the tempo from the previous administration in significant investment in agriculture by government and more important, attracting significant investment, both local and foreign agriculture. Because that is where you will create, one, the food security, two, the raw materials for industries, three, the products you can export and foreign exchange to replace some of the oil and gas foreign exchange that we have lost.
In bringing this discussion to a close, what would you rather see going forward now that the government must to give a sense of direction for the economy?
First is consolidate what has been started with the oil and gas. After signing off the exit from the joint venture cash calls, which was draining the economy, you need to quickly consolidate that by incorporating the oil and gas companies and let them behave like the Nigeria LNG. They can go both local and foreign markets and raise their own funds rather than wait on the budgets to release annual or monthly cash calls to fund the oil and gas production, which was never viable. And it was a decision that should have been taken many years ago, but it's one of those things that was not done on time, but is done now. So we need to complete it, incorporate those companies so that they can operate on their own. They are in a very profitable business. Oil and gas is a profitable business. So you don't need to fund it from the government budget. That was a major situation that we happily have put behind us.
An economist, Mr. Gabriel Idahosa, I want to thank you so much indeed for talking to us on the news at 10.
Thank you.
When the news at 10 returns, a community in Ipoba local government area of Edo State cries out for non-existence of public power supply in the area. We have that story coming up when we return. Join us again.